missing and all these months are going by and there's no clues.
We had gotten a number of tips, possible sightings of her, but none of those things bore any fruit.
It's hard for me to tell the truth, but I feel like I'm going to be in a bad predicament.
We know that somebody in Kathy's circle of friends is really lying about things.
I felt betrayed. I hung out with these people almost every day.
He was going to lie to me until I was able to refute his lie with a piece of evidence.
Let's go to the night that Kathy went missing. I have an anchor interview. What were you doing that night with a cell phone? How stupid do you think I am?
That was a reaction that we wanted.
Kathy's father, Henry, reported that Kathy went for a walk on Sunday night and did not return home.
I got a text the night before Kathy went missing saying, "I'll see you at school tomorrow. Love you, sis." And I go to school the next day and Kathy's nowhere to be seen. I thought it was weird. She usually texts every morning.
I got a text. I was saying, like, look at your Facebook. When I had heard she went missing, it was like, maybe she ran away, because I definitely ran away from home a few times, but I always kind of like came back, and it was pretty normal, I feel like, for some girls, so I was not even worried.
We received quite a few missing persons reports. 99% of them returned very shortly. She was 19, maybe she just wanted a little bit of time away from her parents.
When I first met Kathy, she was very shy. She became very bubbly, social.
Hi, so now I'm at the Isle on the ferry.
I watched Kathy absolutely come out of her shell. She blossomed in high school.
Kathy was the nicest friend, not just to me, but to everybody. She constantly was trying to make all of us laugh. Whether you're being bullied or you have problems in your own life, it kind of just went away with Kathy. It was us against the world.
My daughter and Kathy were close friends. She was part of the family. First I thought maybe she's finally getting to that point where maybe she's a little rebellious, but she was not the type to just take off and not inform her parents, regardless of what anyone else thought. That wasn't who she was.
A couple days go by and she didn't contact anyone. We all were speechless. We didn't quite understand why she would have gone missing.
I was extremely worried about what was going on. Kathy was somebody that was on her social media every day, almost every other hour of the day.
Kathy's parents did say that Kathy had a computer, and they actually turned that over to us.
Kathy had been on a lot of dating sites. She had been talking to about 8 guys. A couple of them she had actually gotten together with in person.
One of my favorite things to do with Kathy was go to the mall and talk about boys. She was definitely boy crazy.
So we got all these guys to take polygraph tests. And everyone that we brought in and took the polygraph passed the polygraph. We were just losing time every step we took. And then we started getting Kathy's phone records.
We found an ex-boyfriend, Ezekiel Watkins, that Kathy had been text messaging back and forth with on the day that she had disappeared.
Everyone said that Ezekiel was a nice guy, but he had a temper.
When Kathy and Zeke broke up, it got a little out of hand. Zeke started going out with our friend Jamie. Kathy tried to tell Jamie that Zeke had anger issues when they were together and she didn't want her to get hurt. And Zeke was very unhappy with this situation.
We had Ezekiel Watkins come in. He says, yes, he had a text back and forth with Kathy on that day that she went missing, but he hadn't seen her in months.
She had asked him if he wanted to hang out, and he had declined because he was involved with someone else.
He also said that he had an alibi in this case.
Ezekiel told me that that night Kathy went missing, that he had gone to John Carpenter's house and had spent the entire night there.
John lived with his grandmother. His house was the main kick-it spot. Everybody would come over, listen to music, play video games.
John Carpenter said that Ezekiel came over that night about 7 o'clock, spent the entire night there, and all they did was play video games. They never saw Kathy that night.
They do what's called a triangulation, where they can find within a reasonable area where her phone last was active. The night that Kathy disappeared, the triangulation that came from the ping of her phone was at a park called Boulevard Park.
Interestingly, Ezekiel lived in the same general area that those phone signals had been.
This is a missing persons case that we are now concerned about.
Even though Ezekiel Watkins had an alibi, I had concerns in the back of my mind because he was an ex-boyfriend. I talked to staff and teachers at the school that he went to, and they said he was known to be violent, which is very concerning to us. We still wanted to search that area.
It's acres and acres and acres of swampland there with a lot of trees. We were able to secure the help of King County Sheriff's Office search and rescue volunteers. So we started off with the tracking dogs, and we came down to the dead end where Ezekiel lived. It was a small farm.
The parents agreed to let us on their property to do the search.
We didn't see anything that raised any kind of red flags and made us think that something had happened at that property.
Our job is to, one by one, eliminate that suspect, that scenario. So even though we'd already talked to Ezekiel, we want to get more information and bring it back to the police station to take a polygraph test.
He agreed to come in. Understand, the polygraph isn't something that's absolutely conclusive, but it can lead us different ways in terms of our follow-up and our questioning.
The polygraph examiner came out and told me that Ezekiel had passed the polygraph, that he had nothing to do with Kathy's disappearance.
We got some flyers together and we went and passed them around Renton, Burien, Seattle.
We had gotten a number of tips, possible sightings of her, but none of those things bore any fruit.
I was scared to death because realizing that Kathy's missing and there's no clues, you can't find anything, the search dogs don't find anything, I just always held up hope that she'd come back.
For all intents and purposes, this case had gone cold.
As the months kept going by, I honestly thought that Kathy's case would never be solved.
I was at my desk and I received a call from Kathy's friend, Giovanni Candelario. This phone call changed the case entirely.
Now, let's go to the night that Kathy went missing. Okay, all right.
I have a lot of realistic dreams. It could have been a dream, it could have not been.
The story didn't make sense at all.
I pretty much consider them as brothers. You guys were arguing that night?
The story starts unraveling.
I do wonder where she is, though.
I know what you did to that girl.
Every time I opened Facebook, there would be someone saying something about Kathy, and it would break my heart that no one had found her yet. Kathy was totally into cameras and constantly recording things. We knew for sure if we're gonna hang out with Kathy, something's gonna get recorded.
I kind of held on to that hope, thinking, well, maybe she'll be home eventually and everything will go back to normal.
How did you know Kathy Chow?
I met her actually at school.
A call comes in out of the blue from one of Kathy's friends, Gio Candelero. Gio was roommates with John Carpenter, who was Ezekiel Watkins' alibi for the day that Kathy went missing. We don't know what it is he knows, but we're hoping that maybe this is the tip or the clue we've been waiting for.
Tell me who you live with.
John Carpenter at his house.
How long have you lived there?
About 2 years, maybe.
And how do you know Ezekiel?
Just a friend of the group and a friend of John. You know, I pretty much consider them as brothers because they pretty much took me in while I didn't know English.
So was Kathy part of that as well?
Yeah, she was a girl. She was one of the friends of the girls that we all knew in a way.
Now let's go to the night that Kathy went missing.
Okay, alright. I was in my room. Zeke decided to show up. As he's coming in, I see mud on his shoes and a big gash right here on his lip.
Gio begins disclosing to us the night that Kathy disappeared, Zeke shows up back at the house after leaving, covered in mud, covered in blood. That was a game changer at that point.
He was hostage with John for a little bit, and the next morning, John's like, dude, he woke me up out of nowhere asking me for a shovel. A shovel.
The information regarding the shovel was new information. What does Ezekiel need a shovel for? We have to just stop and question everything at that point because something clearly changed. So, what happened?
Now the question kind of comes up. Why you didn't call us a year ago?
To be honest, it started hitting me way after I started noticing his mood started changing. He started losing control, like he started yelling and screaming for no reason 2 nights ago. He comes to the house, and out of nowhere, he snapped and started charging at John. I was like, okay, that is it. I had it with you. I told him, I think I know what you did to that girl. And I told him, you came in my room with on your shoes, and mud all over your pants, blood all over your hands, and I gash in your name. I'm like, how stupid do you think I am? And as I'm telling him that, he was shaking. He was trembling. And as soon as I'm done saying that, he left.
In listening to what he was saying, a number of things resonated, knowing the background information we'd heard about Ezekiel and how he would become possessed and go into rages. So to me, this was Giovanni's confession. He'd been carrying information critical to a case and hadn't said anything.
Did he deny anything?
No, he didn't deny anything. That's the reason why I called you. That face that he gave me said everything, dude. That's why I was like, that's when my conscience started hitting me, like in the heart.
We went from deadlocked with nothing going on to all of a sudden having purpose and a whole new direction to go. We know that somebody in Kathy's circle of friends was really lying about things.
So we wanted to try now and corroborate some of what Gio's told us.
John Carpenter was Ezekiel's alibi for the night Kathy went missing.
We need to bring John Carpenter back in. We need to get to the truth of what happened to Kathy.
How good of friends were you with Ezekiel Watkins?
I love him like a brother, you know, and stuff like that.
What happened a couple days ago?
I've never seen Gio like this.
He confronted Zeke about Kathy Chow being missing, him being part of that's my understanding.
Yeah, he said that girl that went missing, I think you did, and stuff like that. When he was speaking of it, Zeke started to get shaky, however, and he just kind of just was silent then.
When you have two different people giving you the same exact information, verbiage that was used, and the physical reaction. It's credible. So many things are running through my mind. The case is going to break, but there's a lot more work to do before we get there.
Okay, let's go back to when Kathy went missing. Do you remember that night?
Very vaguely. I had a phone call on my cell phone, and it was Zeke asking if he could borrow my shovel real quick.
Can you elaborate on that at all?
And I'm like, hey John, one of my ducks really just died. It's one of the big ones. I need to dig a hole. Can I borrow a shovel for the duck? And so I was like, sure.
Zeke lives on a farm, and it wasn't making sense that Zeke would need to borrow a shovel.
What did he look like when you saw him?
Just a little dirty, that's about it.
He's not giving out that detail that Gio gave, that Zeke was covered in mud and blood. We had to start pressing John for more information.
Do you remember talking to me about a year ago, right after this happened?
Vaguely, yeah.
You told me that Zeke got there about 7 o'clock and spent the evening and night at your house?
Roughly, yeah. That's what I assumed. It was probably a dream, though. Because I have a lot of realistic dreams, so it could have been a dream, it could have not been.
The story didn't make sense at all.
John mentioned having these dreams that things happen that are really realistic, which tells us that he doesn't want to implicate himself.
Did you ask him about that? I mean, I can't imagine this happening and you not having a conversation with him about Kathy Chow, and what were you doing that night with the shovel?
I don't really say anything about it. I do wonder where she is, though.
John got the shovel for Zeke, and John lied to us about Ezekiel's alibi. So he knows that he's involved with this whole case, and at that point, he doesn't give up more information.
Okay, that's going to end the interview.
This changed from being a missing person report to a situation looking like it was indicative of foul play.
We still don't know where Kathy is. We still have nothing other than circumstantial witnesses. Our strategy is going to be critical, and we have to do it just right. We had to find Ezekiel Watkins right away. So once this new information from Giovanni and John comes in, we have to start developing a strategy for how we're going to interview Ezekiel Watkins, because based on this new information, circumstantial evidence points to him.
The first time I talked to him a year prior, Ezekiel was very friendly toward us, but he was kind of a jokester. I thought Greg Barfield would do a better job in interviewing him because he could be more serious with Ezekiel.
Greg Barfield is some kind of a suspect whisperer. The primary talent you need in this line of work is the ability to talk to people, but Greg takes it to an entirely different level.
What I do to approach an interview is find out as much as I can about the case, and I also wanted to develop information on what kind of personality he has, what are his interests, how can I approach him so that he would feel comfortable talking with me. When I contacted Mr. Watkins on the phone, I just wanted to make it as low-key as possible, and he said he was willing to come in for a voluntary interview.
While Kathy was missing for a year, the worst was already coming to my mind, that she was never going to come back. But I had never really given up hope. And then I got a random text from Zeke asking me if I had talked to the police again because they're going and interviewing people with new information. I found it alarming that the police were looking into my really good friends on my best friend's disappearance.
It is good to have somebody like Tanya by your side in the room. We both have the same philosophy when it comes to interviewing somebody. She's as patient as I am. You can't overstate how important that is, because all it takes is a detective getting agitated during that process to shut a suspect down.
We also had a prop. The prop was a shovel that wasn't the shovel involved in this case, but he didn't know that. And we wrapped it with crime scene tape, and we knew at a certain point if he was not forthcoming in information that I would introduce that into the room to see if we got any kind of a reaction.
Because it's new to me, I'm kind of going over everything again. Just kind of tell me what we were doing today and see what missing.
I pretty much was at a friend's house, but he's no longer my friend anymore. But anyways, just pretty much played video games.
And then you stayed there till when?
I spent the night.
Spent the night, so you didn't go back out or anything like that? What kind of video games you like playing?
Call of Duty, Halo, Gears of War.
A lot of my friends and me, we all play.
When I cross the threshold into that room, I'm an actor. I will use whatever I think I can related to that particular person in order to get them to feel more comfortable speaking to me.
Did you have any conversations, contact in person, anything like that with Kathy that day?
Kathy texted me saying that she's gonna be hanging out with guy friends or whatever.
Just the one text that day?
Yeah.
I had a piece of information that we developed from Kathy's phone records. So I knew that Mr. Watkins was lying to me right off the bat.
When I look at the records, it shows that you and her exchanged incoming and outgoing calls and text messages 46 times that day.
I don't know, I just really didn't care why she texted me much.
But it wasn't just her, that's the thing, Ezekiel. There's text messages from your phone, texting back to her.
I anticipate that a suspect is going to lie to me in an interview or an interrogation. It was going to be baby steps getting information out of him.
What would you say is the explanation for that?
I guess arguments.
You guys were arguing that night back and forth?
Yeah.
He was going to lie to me until I was able to refute his lie with a piece of evidence. That's stressful because there wasn't a whole lot of evidence to go on.
So you guys were broken up at this time?
Yeah.
Was she upset that you were dating somebody else?
Yeah, I guess so.
Finally, the story starts unraveling. It was like pulling a slow reel with Ezekiel.
I'm asking you to be straight with me. That's all I'm going to be with you, I promise. My goal is whatever the truth is. Keeping that in mind, I asked you, did you see her that night? You said no. Is that really the truth?
No, I've probably seen her, yeah.
You saw her that night. Where did you see her at?
Boulevard Park.
Were you guys just talking, trying to work things out?
I guess so.
Were you getting mad or heated or anything at all?
My heart pounds really fast.
Yeah.
And I do have the anger issue, but I never strike or anything.
Right. How long do you think you guys were walking around talking?
2-3 hours.
Mr. Watkins spent 3 hours with Kathy on the last night that she was seen, and I now believe that Mr. Watkins was likely the last person to see Kathy before she disappeared. It's at that point that I gave Detective Gardner a visual cue to step out of the room and grab the shovel. My game plan was I was not going to reference the shovel, ask a question about the shovel. I just wanted to gauge his reaction.
That flinch in the eyes, that was a reaction that we wanted. If he'd had no reaction, we might have thought, oh, we're going down the wrong path.
Did you call John?
Called John.
You called John. Did you ask him for anything? Are you sure?
You could see him physically deflate. I believe he thought that that was a shovel that was used that night. His reaction started helping confirm that it wasn't to bury ducks.
I'm just going to tell you, Ezekiel, I'm pretty good at reading people's body language, and there's something bugging you right now. Did you call John up to ask him for any kind of help, anything like that? Yeah. What did you ask him for?
I think, honestly, the pressure of him carrying this secret with him reached its peak.
Yeah. Like, what? It's all right.
Kathy did to her.
What Kathy did to who?
Herself.
What did she do? What Kathy did?
Kind of like cut her or something.
She cut herself? Where at? Checked out her throat. She did it to herself? Okay. What did that happen?
What Mr. Watkins reveals is that Kathy's dead. When I find that piece of information out, my number one goal is to find Kathy for her parents. If I could help resolve at least that part of it, that's what my goal is.
But I know it's tough. But we want to give some closure to her family.
Inside, the adrenaline is running, but I can't show that. If it was an accident or if she hurt herself, I just talked to him about that.
Were you asking John to help you with her? Yeah. Did he do that for you? He did? Yeah, dig the hole in there. How far down did you guys dig?
He tells me that Mr. Carpenter has helped to bury Kathy's remains. This is different, obviously, than the version of events that Mr. Carpenter's already told us. So we don't know what his involvement is.
John helped you pick her up and put her in the grave?
Now, on the face of that, as a detective, that seems like the least plausible thing that anybody would do if somebody harmed themselves. Instead of trying to go get her help, I'm going to call a buddy of mine and have him come over and help me bury her body.
It is very much shocking. Ezekiel, I have a hard time believing that your reaction is to call your friend, have him meet you, and you guys go and bury the body. It doesn't sit right with me.
Now that we've established a rapport with Zeke, he's now throwing Ezekiel off his game.
Did you get angry and something happened?
I got angry, yes.
Okay. What happened?
I did, yes, pull out the knife.
Okay.
But it didn't strike.
So the next scenario was they were arguing, she took his knife, and then she came after him with it.
She somewhat grabs it, lay on the ground, and then she sliced my leg.
Okay.
And then I guess I jolted and turned the knife around and stabbed her in the foot.
He told us that he had killed Kathy in a terrible accident and buried her. I was just floored. This changed from a non-custodial interview to a custodial interview. Ezekiel wasn't free to leave, and Greg read him his rights.
You understand those rights? Okay. Are you willing to continue to talk to me about this?
Yes.
You're being completely honest with me about this was an accident.
Again, what Mr. Watkins is telling me didn't seem plausible, that he had some kind of involuntary spasm and then stabbed Kathy in the neck accidentally. But what I do know at that point is that he can likely show us where her remains are.
If you have a murder and you don't have a body, it's nearly impossible to get a conviction. Forensics, even a year later, will prove whether it's an accident or not. It was extremely important for us that he would lead us to where she was.
Do you know where that's at? Would you be able to go back there? Because like I said, it's important for us to be able to tell her that.
I can try.
Are we almost there then?
Pretty much.
And how far down the power lines here do you think it is?
Pretty much past the last one over there.
It was an overgrown field in his backyard.
Mr. Watkins stops and he indicates with his hands that this is the area that he believes Kathy's remains are at.
This is a big area out here, and we started thinking in terms of what we would need for equipment to actually process that scene. We know there's always more to it. We don't know just how truthful Ezekiel's being about this. Is this something that he's going to fabricate?
We have to find the body, but we also then need to make it a murder case, because right now he's saying it's an accident.
I don't believe what he's told me so far is the true version of what happened.
Ezekiel, so we talked about before, it's an accident, if something happened, it's not really an accident, right?
I didn't want to kill her. I didn't want to do it.
What made you so upset? What made you so angry?
One of the things I'm trying to establish is premeditation. So I asked him to visualize what he'd done and give him a moment to think about that and tell us the truth.
Pretty much kind of like rolling around, kind of like holding one of my arms, and I was trying to, get her arm off me.
Is she screaming? Is she saying anything like, please don't? Or what is she saying?
She's saying, please don't. And I was like, I'm not trying to do anything to you.
He keeps saying that it was an accident.
And you're sure about that? I stabbed her throat through the knife, put pressure on her throat, trying to stop the blood.
Do you have your hands around her throat the whole time?
No. I removed them. You took your hands away. You left the knife. Hit her neck. And then I took it out later. You took it out later.
He's continually maintaining that he accidentally stabbed her in the neck. I hit a sticking point with Mr. Watkins, so I want him to cool his heels for a little bit.
Stand up.
Because if I continue to push him, he's not going to keep talking to me.
Hands behind your back.
We don't want to shut him down because we still have to find Kathy's body.
We're also working on getting John Carpenter down to the station because now we know he has some involvement in concealing Kathy's remains after she died.
We want to corroborate if John had more involvement than he initially told us. Maybe John helped to kill Kathy.
Start the recording.
Hands behind your back.
During this second period of speaking to Mr. Watkins after coming back from the field, he's sticking to his version of events, that he accidentally stabbed her in the neck. It doesn't ring true to me.
Spread your legs.
But we got enough evidence to take him down to the jail and we book him for investigation of murder. At some point during this time frame, Mr. Carpenter was brought back into the station.
Okay, start the recording.
But they don't pass each other in the hallways to see each other, and Mr. Watkins has no idea Mr. Carpenter is there.
You provided sort of an alibi for Ezekiel by saying he was at your grandma's house. We know that not to be true.
At this point in the investigation, we don't know what Mr. Carpenter's involvement is. Was he there before Kathy died? Did he help in Kathy's demise? Because Mr. Carpenter's saying, borrowed a shovel to bury ducks. Mr. Watkins saying, called him to help me bury Kathy's body. So something isn't right.
Zeke said that you helped him dig the grave site. He took us out to there and he pointed it out already today. I think probably you were, trying to help a friend out who was in a bad spot.
Sometimes for me, it's hard for me to tell the truth when I feel like I'm going to be in a bad predicament.
Sure.
Often with interviews or interrogations, there needs to be a trigger point for a suspect to tell you the truth.
So, I did. So, I wanted to help him out.
Sure.
But I kind of didn't at the same time because I was really sleepy at the same time. And when I saw it, I felt extremely horrible.
Yeah.
So when I confronted Mr. Carpenter, at that point, Mr. Carpenter decides to change the story again.
All I could really see was her feet. My mind just went blank, and I just looked at him like, he's a friend. And I just can't really turn him down, because if it was me in the same spot, he would have done the same.
Not only did he get a shovel, but he went to the site with Ezekiel and actually saw the body.
What do you say happened?
He led her out there, just like a hangout, whatever. Pulled out the knife, stabbed her a couple times.
He also noticed several cuts on her, not just one wound.
Did he tell you why?
Kathy was kind of being a creeper about him and his relationship that he had at the time.
Was your understanding he was leading her out there in order to do this, or something happened that caused this to happen?
I think he was leading out there to do this.
Leading her out there in order to ambush her, kind of, and stab her.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
Ezekiel, prior to that evening, had told him that he was going to kill Kathy Chow. So we've got that premeditation part. So that's pretty definite information that we now want to go back and ask Zeke about.
Do you guys dig the grave right there next to her or somewhere else and drag her to it?
A little farther up, and then her feet, we didn't dig enough over for her feet because we didn't know how tall she was and stuff like that, so her feet were kind of sticking up, so she jumped on her legs and broke them. So.
To get her in the hole?
Yeah. We also added garbage bags, dirt, plywood, logs, and sprayed it down with swamp water. So.
This is gruesome, but there were specific things that they did in the grave. There was this layering process in order to conceal Kathy's body and mask her scent, which is why we didn't find her body last year.
Would you know where it was at? Would you be able to point out?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay.
It feels good to have this off my chest. I was tempted to tell you guys about it, but I was like, if I tell them, I'm going to be in trouble as well because of accomplice. After hearing that he confronted about it, I might as well do it too.
There's been a break in the case, but I know Kathy's out there somewhere buried. It's time to bring her home.
It's over here. We'll follow you out.
Not only the detectives, but literally every officer in our department, all the way up to the chief, is out there helping the search for Kathy's remains.
That bush right there.
That large one right there?
John pointed out a slightly different location, a number of yards away from the spot that Ezekiel thought that he had buried Kathy in.
He said he was a little bit west of that.
We returned with more manpower and a strategy and a grid pattern, which was approximately a football field size area there. We took hydraulic brush cutters, mowed down the grass, and started our way down from ground level down, inch by inch by inch.
How far do you want him to go?
3 feet.
While other detectives are at the excavation of Kathy's remains. Detective Gardner and I are still at the station, and I decide I'm going to grab Ezekiel Watkins and bring him back up. Because so far he hasn't given me the whole truth. So my goal in sitting down with him again is to get him to tell me really what happened.
We wanted to get that confession of premeditation from Zeke.
I'm just going to be straight with you. After interviewing you twice, I interviewed John Carpenter and talked to him.
We told him that his buddy John had given us this information and that the best thing he could do would be to also give us the full truth.
I don't think you're being truthful with me. John told me you took her out there for one reason. You were going to stab her because she's been meddling in your business. It's been a long, long day, and I don't want to sit here and have you lying to me again. Did you get her to come out there because you were going to stab her? Did you get her to come out there because you were going to stab her? Yes.
He felt that Kathy was making things difficult for his current girlfriend. That was the motivation for this entire tragedy.
How long had you been thinking about doing this before you called her that day?
A couple of days.
This is a confession. We can now hold Mr. Watkins accountable for what he did. Now it's talking about how this really happened.
I did shove her down to the ground, saying, please stop, I won't try to ruin your life or something.
He describes how Kathy pled for her life.
I know we struggled, so I know somehow she did get the knife, just cut me, up here on her lip, is that what you're talking about? Yes.
Fighting for her life is what she was doing. We can tell that from the injuries that he sustained.
Did you tell your girlfriend about what happened? Yeah, you did.
After this murder, Ezekiel had actually taken Kathy's high-top shoes, he'd given them to his current girlfriend. That was a really disturbing revelation. We eventually got an admission from her that she had heard about the murder from Ezekiel. She'd just been too scared to tell anyone about it.
In a 24-hour period, we got enough information to get us to a place we hadn't got to in the last 15 months. But we still need to find Kathy.
Throughout this, we're looking at this as an archaeological dig. We're probably 40 people out there with shovels and wire mesh screens to sift dirt through.
They got to a place where they found a corner of some black plastic.
Plastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
They continue to excavate by hand now. They found under that layer of plastic was a layer of dirt and logs. And finally, what they recognized to be a body.
For me, it was very emotional. It was heartbreaking. I have to go to her parents and tell them, we found your daughter, but she's no longer with us.
To see the pain on their faces, but the relief at the same time was closure for them and for us.
When we had heard that Zeke was the one that killed her, I was absolutely shocked. I felt betrayed.
It just took me so long to actually accept that that's what really had happened. And then I started reading in the details, and it got worse from there.
Kathy's body had several stab wounds. The most significant one was the wound from her ear to ear around her neck. This proved that Mr. Watkins killed her with premeditated intent and not in self-defense. We had no evidence that Mr. Carpenter participated in the killing. He could have been charged with rendering criminal assistance after the fact, but he got counsel, and that lawyer only let him speak to investigators with a promise that the state wouldn't file charges against him. So he got immunity for that.
John and Gio, they kept it a major secret. Nobody let it slip. They actually helped me pass flyers out. They acted worried. I hung out with these people almost every day.
On March 13th, 2015, the jury returned a verdict of guilty as charged to murder in the first degree. Ezekiel Watkins was sentenced to 27 years for murdering Kathy Chow.
I hope he wakes up every day thinking about what he did. Is it enough? I don't know, but sometimes your own guilt will torture you. So maybe him living with that, maybe that will be his punishment.
I really miss and love Kathy. There's nobody else like her. Nobody could ever replace her.
You expect her to always be there. So when it's gone, you realize what a great friend you have. She was someone that always laughed and always knew how to make someone smile. And she loved you, and you always knew that. Always.
For more about Criminal Confessions, go to oxygen.com.